This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Well, the DMV shuts down driving tests after an employee tests positive, and Welfare says that they will start opening their offices. It's Friday, June 19th. Happy Juneteenth. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. The Nevada Department of Motor Vehicles today temporarily suspended all non-commercial driving skills tests statewide after one drive examiner in Las Vegas contracted the coronavirus. Even though they say that their examiners have been wearing personal protective equipment, the driver and the examiner sit in close proximity during a test. The examiner based at the West Flamingo office reported feeling ill prior to reporting for work on Wednesday, June 17th, and has not returned to work since. The examiner was wearing full personal protective equipment, including a face shield, mask, gloves, and gown during all tests performed on Monday and Tuesday. Employees and individuals with whom the examiner may have come into contact with will be notified by the health district. Driving skills tests will resume on Monday, June 22nd. Drive examiners will continue to wear full personal protective equipment. Driving test applicants now will be required instead of encouraged to also wear face coverings. The department will continue taking the temperatures of drive test applicants before administering the test and will initiate daily temperature checks of staff during next week. Well, the state has reopened all welfare offices with restrictions. After a soft opening this week, the state announced that all Division of Welfare and Supportive Service offices are open and following social distancing guidelines and face covering guidelines. The public is encouraged to continue to use the internet and telephone to access Medicaid, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families Program. And the office, and you can go into the office if necessary. You must also go into the welfare office. You must be prepared to wear those face coverings and maintain a 6-foot social distance. There will be limited entry to offices to minimize risk to public health. For more information, you can find them on the web at dwss.nv.gov. That's dwss.nv.gov. Well, the official results have been posted after 10 days since the unusual mail-in primary election here in the state, which saw a little bit higher turnout and a lot of locals complaining that they never received a ballot in the mail. The final results are in for the 2020 primary election. In U.S. Congress, Stephen Horsford has won on the Democratic side. Republican Jim Marchant will challenge him in the November election. For judicial, in the Supreme Court Seat B, Christina Pickering took the win. In Seat D, Douglas Herndon. For Assembly in District 36, Gregory Hayfin won. Here in Nye County, for County Commissioner in District 1, Richard Gardner wins. In District 2, Frank Carboni over incumbent John Koenig. In District 3, incumbent Donna Cox. For more information, go to silverstateelections.nv.gov. And Nye County Clerk Sandra Molino appeared before the county commissioners this morning. She says that while there were some signature issues with the mail-in ballots, voter turnout was strong, and her office will be ready for in-person voting in November.
We identified at least 2 Precinct 9 voters who voted Precinct 5 ballots and 1 Precinct 11 voter who voted a Precinct 7 ballot. They were just given the wrong ballot styles, but it wouldn't have made any difference in any results. Also, we had 2 same-day registration provisional voters who didn't show valid identification. They couldn't get into DMV, so we had to reject those ballots. And for a total, we had 99 individuals who returned their ballots either without signatures or with mismatched signatures, such as somebody else in the family signed their ballot, or we just couldn't match the signature. But in the end, we cured most of them, so in the end, we only rejected 24 ballots without signatures.
And you sent them letters.
Right, and they all cured or sent us information back. And to be honest, a few of these were the husband signed the wife signed the husband, and in general, we probably would have counted those anyway because they're same household, same information, the signature was just on the husband's, that kind of mismatch. So we were
Oh.
able to verify signatures in that manner, but that actually
He signed
happened.
hers, she signed his.
Yes.
Got it.
So, we would have accepted those anyway, but we did send them letters. So in the end, 24 ballots were rejected. And we had a couple of people who wrote us little nasty letters saying it was all a scam. They weren't about to sign. It was actually a pretty decent turnout for a primary.
And quite a few people showed up in person June 9th to drop off their ballots in person at the clerk's office.
Under the COVID regulations, the lines at the polling place, we had no idea how many people would show up to turn their ballots in person. I mean, everybody was sent a ballot, so we really had no idea to expect 500 people or 10 people. And unfortunately, we would only accept one person at a time in the office, or a couple if they were together, which did slow things down a little bit. And yes, I had some pretty robust conversations with some people out in the hall complaining about the mail-in. And yes, and I understand everybody's frustration. And absolutely, no matter what's going on in November, we plan to have the polls open. So we're ready in November, no matter what it takes. We'll do what we have to do to have in-person polling.
Well, corporations recognize Juneteenth, which honors the end of slavery in the United States. Lloyd's of London apologizes for its involvement in slavery, and the Philadelphia Fed says business conditions are seeing a significant improvement. Here's Angela Miles.
Tapping our news, Juneteenth 2020 is being recognized by several corporations. In addition to Chase Bank closing at 1 o'clock today, Best Buy is offering employees a paid volunteer day. Juneteenth honors the end of slavery in the U.S. It will be a company-wide holiday next year at Best Buy. General Motors plans 8 minutes and 46 seconds of silence today to mark the death of George Floyd, who was killed by an officer, sparking this new corporate interest in Juneteenth. And Lloyd's of London is out with an apology for its role in the Atlantic slave trade back in the 18th and 19th centuries. Checking the U.S. economy, the Philadelphia Fed reports business conditions improved to 27.5 this month from a negative 43.1 in May. The number of Americans applying for first-time unemployment claims totaled 1.5 million last week. That was better than expected.
Thanks, Angela. Well, the beginning of summer brings those wildfire worries. We're going to talk about that after the break.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Well, Clark County is launching an interagency effort to crack down on the use of fireworks this 4th of July holiday season. And they're introducing an online tool to help the public report illegal firework complaints. The county has produced a series of public service announcements to help spread the word.
Illegal fireworks cause too many injuries, too many fires, and the noise scares pets and can be disturbing to veterans and those suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Illegal fireworks also pollute our air. This year, we are cracking down on illegal fireworks.
This 4th of July, we will have officers assigned to enforce the laws against illegal fireworks. And we are issuing citations. You could be fined up to $1,000. We can't be everywhere, but don't risk it.
You light it, we ride it.
Well, if you live in Clark County, you can report the use of illegal fireworks by going online to ispyfireworks.com. Reports do not result in police dispatch. Instead, the data is used to help identify problem areas for future law enforcement efforts. Well, tomorrow's the first day of summer, and that means higher temps and fire season. And now more than ever, it's important to be mindful of outdoor activities that have a potential to spark a brush fire. Right now, there's a ban on all outdoor burning, and Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue Chief Scott Lewis says careless actions can have disastrous consequences.
The burn moratorium isn't just a local piece, it's also actually a state piece, and in some cases it's actually federal because it's managed by BLM U.S. Forest. So when the burn moratoriums come out, they usually coincide with each other. However, they're incrementally, they occurred in different times this year, but there is a state ban on any open burning. And it coincides not only with the COVID crisis, but it's also with our extremely dry conditions. We've been having a series of days that are red flag warnings, and as you recall, red flag means that there's low relative humidity, high temperatures and high winds. So good portions of Nye County have been in red flag warnings on and off for the past 2 weeks. And we've seen some significant fire. And with red flag usually means that there is erratic fire behavior, meaning that it can grow and intensify very short periods of time, extend onto other properties, and can pretty much consume just different types of materials very easily. And we've seen those type of fires in the last 2 weeks. We've had some very significant fires that have occurred in Pahrump that have had some devastating property damage. Fortunately for us, there have been no injuries in those fires, and that's what, our endeavor is to make sure everybody's safe, obviously. But these fires are occurring, and the historic risk associated with many of these fires are in non-hydrated areas. So we need to be mindful on our ignition sources, whether they be, trying to have a campfire, unauthorized controlled burns you can't have, making sure everything's covered, even operating equipment such as welders and grinders on your property. You have to be extremely mindful of your activities and whether any slag could cause a secondary fire. We were in 2 fires within the last 2 weeks where every 10 seconds they were extending and doubling by size. And so if you were simply to have a garden hose that has a limited length or limited gallons per minute out of the nozzle, you're not going to be able to catch up, and it's going to just take off and go further and further away from you with the wind. More than anything, if an event does occur, make sure you call 911 immediately, because almost in every significant fire event that we have in this valley, there's a delayed, not only detection in many cases, but delayed notifications to 911.
Because they're trying to put out their own hose?
Exactly. They're engaged in other activities, and nobody's taking the time to call 911 and get the resources rolling.
Much more news, including your Cleveland report, right after this break.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
More than 2 million people have been sickened by COVID-19 in the United States, some severely. One Ohio man without any serious health issues never expected to be one of them. Erica Foreman has more on a father's fight for life.
When 60-year-old Mike Aletto wasn't feeling well, he figured it was something minor.
I was getting shortness of breath and a cough, kind of a dry cough. So I went and saw my doctor, and he told me that he thought I had a sinus infection because I do get them periodically.
But Mike's symptoms worsened. A week later, he was diagnosed with COVID-19 and quarantined at home.
I've had bronchitis in my life, I've had pneumonia, and this cough that was associated with the COVID was unbearable.
Before long, he was struggling to breathe.
When he kind of reached out to me in the middle of the night on March 22nd that he couldn't breathe and he needed to go to the hospital, I called 911 very calmly, and off he went.
Mike spent the next several weeks at Cleveland Clinic, many of those on a ventilator.
Every single organ is suffering because of the lack of oxygen, because of the high inflammation that the COVID-19 causes. So we had started to see all of that in him.
Mike missed Easter, his wife's own battle with the disease, and the unexpected passing of his mother.
The morning I found out, I actually called her just to tell her, hey, we did it, we made it. And of course she didn't answer. And then the next day I got mad because I didn't get to tell her, But I think she knows. My son said she sent me back.
Doctors treated him with everything they had at the time, and slowly Mike began to recover. After a short stint in rehab, he's finally home, counting his blessings.
We don't know how much time we have, so that time should be spent with family and friends and just enjoying what we have. Because, like I said, I came out of an induced coma and my mother was gone. I didn't know that was going to happen. So just enjoy. Enjoy your kids, enjoy your parents, enjoy your friends, and that's what life's about.
At Cleveland Clinic, I'm Erica Foreman.
Thanks, Erica. Well, Mike spent 6 weeks in the hospital. He says he still feels short of breath at times, but is getting stronger every day. He's looking forward to a quiet Father's Day spent with family. In today's Save a Pet, we meet Mr. Kitty, a senior cat who ended up at the shelter after his owner died. Darby O'Donnell joins us from Desert Haven Animal Society with more on how you can adopt this sweet cat.
Today's Save a Pet is proudly sponsored by Jason Ernest with Mountain West Lawyers. Call 775-727-9500.
Hi, I'm Darby here at Desert Haven Animal Society, and today we're joined with Mr. Kitty. Mr. Kitty is a 17-year-old white domestic short hair. He is declawed in the front paws. He has gorgeous blue eyes. He is a thick cat. Also, he likes to hide his head. So cute. But Mr. Kitty's owner passed away, which is why he's here. So he's just looking for someone to spend the rest of his life with and love on and give cuddles to. He's a very sweet cat. If you want to see Mr. Kitty or any of his friends here at Desert Haven Animal Society, you can come and see them. They're on Ceres Lane behind the Nye County Courthouse. Please call ahead and make an appointment for showings, 775-751-7020. Just so you know, Mr. Kitty does qualify for the senior to senior program. Any senior over the age of 60 can come and get free adoption fees on any of the animals. They also have veterans programs as well. So give them a call, 775-751-7020, or look them up on their Facebook page at Desert Haven Animal Society. Bye, Mr. Kitty.
He is so cute. Well, we want to wish a happy birthday to BJ Hedrick Irwin. She is 95 today. BJ is the creator and director of the Nevada Silver Tappers and Miss Senior Golden Years organizations. This feisty, beautiful lady has been working in our community and representing Pahrump for the past 30 years. Happy birthday.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
I want to see those beautiful skies out there on that Lerner and Rowe weather cam. We have some triple-digit temperatures coming. We're going to find out more about that right after this break.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hello and welcome back to News 25. I'm Michael Donohue with today's weather. Las Vegas had a high of 101 degrees, a low of 75, 111 with a low of 80 degrees in Death Valley, 99.66 in Amargosa, 95.63 in Beatty, 86 a low of 53 in Goldfield, 83 also a low of 53 in Tonopah, 86.51 in Carson City, 87 a low of 51 in Fallon, and 86 a low of 55 up in Fernley. Now today in Pahrump, we saw sunny skies. Our high today was 98 degrees. Winds out of the west-southwest up to 7 miles per hour. Humidity at 6%, and our sunrise at 5:26 this morning. Now tonight we're expecting clear skies. The low is going to be 69 degrees. It is 98 outside currently with 7-mile-per-hour winds out of the east-southeast, 11% humidity, and 8:04 tonight expected for our sunset. Now looking into that 7-day, still expecting mainly sunny skies through the week. We do have some clouds coming in on Tuesday and Wednesday, and those winds still expecting between 11 to 13 miles per hour all through the week. Now also looks like we're going to start hitting those triple digits tomorrow. We're going to be seeing a high of 102, and we're pretty much just going to be bouncing around anywhere between 102 and 106 degrees for the rest of the week. And our overnight seeing a similar picture. We're just going to be in those 70-degree bracket, just between 72 to 77 degrees for our lows all week long. So now with that, we're going to throw it back to the desk with Deanna.
Thanks so much, Michael. Well, we have Movies in the Park happening, and that will be tomorrow night at Ian Deutsch Memorial Park, right there off of Honeysuckle between Dandelion and Pahrump Valley Boulevard. Tomorrow is A Dog's Journey. It all begins at 8 p.m. Bring your chairs, bring your blankets, bring the family. Of course, social distancing is required there. It's in the park area right off of Pahrump Valley Boulevard and Honeysuckle, so come on down. It's lots of fun. Of course, it's free. And Pahrump Valley Speedway is having their races tomorrow night beginning at 7 p.m. The gates open at 6 p.m. All classes will be racing there at our local speedway, which is back in action again. For more information, of course, go to PahrumpValleySpeedway.com. They're located at 300 North Panorama. The Pahrump Fall Festival is happening right now. We are planning it. It's going to be on from September 24th through the 27th. There's a parade on September 26th on Highway 160. For more information on all the happenings there, including the rodeo and entertainment, and of course vendor booths and how you can get all involved in that, you can go to visitpahrump.com. Well, that is going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I want to say a very happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, to my dad in heaven and my my dad that's been a wonderful stepdad, Greg Cardarelli. Happy Father's Day. And to our soon-to-be dad, Ubaldo Alvarado, who is here right there in the tech booth, and he's going to have a wonderful Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. We'll see you back here on Monday. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Good night.